Australians might have seen this in the mainstream media news, but it is about the Ukraine war, so maybe not. Anyway, a dam was blown up. Now, the closest thing to real news, outside of YouTube and social media, actual news sites, is Al Jazeera. Now, they're a bit sus themselves. They do have some agendas. And nowhere near as tight as the legacy media in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US and Britain. I'll put a link in the description to this website. If you click on that live tracker, you get interactive maps like this. They seem pretty accurate, judging by the Telegram channels and that I watch as well. So, yeah, it's a pretty good resource. If you're interested in what's happened to the 0.45 billion, this is just in 1 year, so it's more than that. Euro, which is over 700 million AU dollars. A penny's thrown into this thing, so Australia stands with Ukraine. Then you can download the official portrait of Penny if you want. On the left-hand side there, you can hang it up in your home minibar or in your study. I haven't seen that before. There must have been some demand for it. And Penny's gone, oh, okay, well, we'll do an official portrait and make it downloadable. Go on your Penny. Yeah, for the record, I actually didn't download it, but others might. Here's a short video from the site to show what occurred with the explosion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Обстрелы то как обстрелы. Я не знаю даже, что лучше, то ли утонуть.
So Ukraine and Russia blame each other. It's a bit like Nord Stream Part 2. So who controls the dam? Well, actually, both of them have access to the crime scene, both within firing range. Now, Shoigu reckons it's timed for this supposed great offensive, and they're not travelling too well so far. And he reckons, oh, they've just flooded this area, so any troops that were in Kherson, you don't need them there anymore. You can't fight. They've been redeployed. So add to that it's presently a strategic area for Russia. Also the water supply for all of that area controlled by Russia, including Crimea. And that water is needed. The nuclear reactor is actually upstream from where the dam was, but they needed all that stored water for the cooling of the reactor, which Russia controls, and it's being shelled on a regular basis by Ukraine. You can see the picture that's being painted here. Also, prior to the invasion, Ukraine previously emulated the effect of the dam explosion when they cut off the water supply to Crimea. So adverse material outcomes for Russia strongly implicate Ukraine. I think that's an understatement. So in the absence of any identifiable immediate adverse consequences for the Ukraine, Zelensky and the West are trotting out slogans. He's calling them Russian terrorists, and Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, has demonstrated the brutality of Russia's war in Ukraine. And the British Foreign Secretary, he really articulates where they're going with their argument. Look, we don't know about the sort of details. All we know is that it happened because of Russia's invasion.
It was Russia that started this war. It was Russia that occupied this area of Ukraine. And it was Russian forces that took over the dam illegally.
Now we get to the comedy part of the video. The Australian mainstream media is reporting. This is Channel 10. There's Sandra Sully.
Ukraine has accused Russia of a war crime and a new form of terrorism, ecocide, after the destruction of a massive dam on a major river. Tens of thousands of people have had to flee their homes, creating a tragic new complication in a bitter war zone.
So rather than just give some details first, they come straight out of the blocks with a big accusation. Ukraine reckons Russia did it. And attached to that accusation, immediately following, tens of thousands of people have been affected.
It's a disaster on such scale that's perhaps best seen up close. Tatiana is trying to save her dogs.
Dog. Look, in defence of Channel 10, this was a strategy all over the world. I watched Redacted's take on this. They got a few things right. I didn't like some of what they said. Other news stories have got police rescuing dogs. Trying to tear at the heartstrings. Yeah, people suffering. Oh, no one cares about that anymore. Get some dogs.
There's one she can't help.
You'll drown. Where are you going? You'll drown.
Oh, no, that's value-adding news service right there. That's bespoke. You know, you get premium. They just show Tatiana yelling at the dog in her own language. They translate it. Where are you going? You'll drown. So just kept people a bit, oh, do you hope the dog's all right? How do they know her name? How come she's the only one there? How did her and the dog get there? She takes it out for a walk, and it's gone. And she lost control. She got it drown. At one point, Tatiana looked straight at the camera as though she knew it was there. So a few of you nut job conspiracy theorists think this was all staged. Well, that's a slap in the face to mainstream media. It's gone out of the way. Trust the mainstream media to serve the people of Australia with this.
The dam on the Dnieper River was one of the biggest in the world, holding up 18 billion cubic metres of water.
It was big, but it's actually only the 48th biggest dam, so they're embellishing it a bit there. But look, a bust dam, you're going to have some chaos.
10 times larger than Sydney's Warragamba Dam, whose spillover has proved so destructive. 15 times larger than the Wivenhoe Dam, whose failure devastated Brisbane.
The topography and climate of Europe's a bit different to Australia. It's a lot more mountainous with waterways and snow-capped mountains. Australia's pretty flat.
If this is a deliberate act, it's a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. How can they do that, says Ludmilla. It's barbaric. They're just crazy animals, says Ivan.
That's another character here. His name's Ivan. I don't mention his family name. For that. Just believe what he says. He says, crazy animals. Well, that's a translation. It's not as heart-wrenching as a dog might drown. It's like he's having a good time. In fact, dogs that are in distress tend to go to the owners, not swim away from Tatiana. So I don't care too much about Ivan.
Carrying underwear and bedding for his 80-year-old mother.
Well, it's taking me by surprise. I got to backtrack there. I didn't know there was an 80-year-old woman's underwear in the bags. He's actually trying to get them to her. Hey, this is a war crime. This could go before a court. I hope Ivan gives testimony goes back to the exhibits. He takes the underwear in, empties them onto the desk. He's saying, well, it's got a witness. I didn't get my underwear. By the way, I looked to find... Hang on, let me compose myself. I looked for any casualties. Apparently no one died in this surprise bombing of the dam. Now, it didn't completely collapse, so there probably wasn't a big wall of water coming down like in the movies. In one of the Superman movies, maybe he froze it or something. It wasn't like that. But it was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it appears that, perhaps it might have been a scheduled demolition. Look, who's going to fix it up? Who's going to pay for the new dam or do it for profit? I think BlackRock's got their hand up. This whole shit show could be Putin, Zelensky, everyone's in on this, and the only losers are the people in the West losing their tax dollars and the people in Ukraine who are losing their lives.
The whole world will know about this Russian war crime, this crime of ecocide. This is an environmental bomb of mass destruction.
Ukraine demanded an immediate session of the UN Security Council, but Russia used it to blame them.
On the night of June the 6th, the Kiev regime committed an unthinkable crime, exploding the dam.
The obvious question, who benefits? This simulation charts the water flows, cutting a wide swathe through country Ukraine ultimately wants to win back.
Yeah, a bit of deception there, a bit of sneakiness. Yeah, see, it couldn't have been Ukraine because they're going to win this land back, so they don't want it flooded. Even though by the time they ever do win it, the water will be long gone. And BlackRock could be there to rebuild it.
But a leading Australian analyst says the Russians themselves seemed caught by surprise.
My sense is this is either a collapse because of structural issues with the dam or an accident.
They've tried to add some credibility to this comedy show, this little segment, by including this guy, Major General retired Mick Ryan. He just exacerbates the comedy. What do you say? I might have just collapsed. Just at this point in time. It's been there since 1956, and right now it collapsed. Or it was an accident. Yeah, they were kind of like trying to shell some troops. It went wayward to right exactly where the dam wall was. For those that have made it this far, a quick quiz if you feel inclined. If Ivan's mum's underpants woes tears at your heartstrings the most, just type underpants. If it's the dog, just type dog. Or if it's the billions of dollars that we're going to end up losing, because this has got a lot, this is going on for years, by the way, type in $1 billion scam. All right, that's it for this one.